My husband looked like he'd just gotten his heart broken. On Chinese Valentine's Day Qixi festival, he got blackout drunk at home and didn't go anywhere. Being the nice person I am, I brought him a bowl of hangover soup. He stared at me, all dressed up. A flicker of guilt in his eyes as he spoke like he was doing me a favor. Wife, you're always the sweetest. I'm not going anywhere tonight. I'll stay home and spend Chinese Valentine's Day with you. I yanked my hand back immediately. No way. My 6'3", 8-pack-abs, well-endowed boyfriend was waiting for me downstairs. Elias Hale had never kept a lover for more than a month. Not until he set his sights on Chloe Reed, the poor student the Hale family had sponsored. The girl was beautiful, smart, and stubborn. She refused to be his mistress. Elias put on fireworks displays, sent her lavish gifts and jewelry, and claimed her as his own in the most high-profile ways. He chased Chloe to Europe and was gone for over 2 months without coming home. So on Chinese Valentine's Day, I'd dressed to the nines and planned to have my boyfriend over to celebrate. If you're gonna chase the thrill, you might as well go all the way. But in the late afternoon, Elias stumbled home drunk. He half-slumped on the couch, a cigarette between his fingers. Looking defeated and miserable, I couldn't help but sigh at his heartbroken state. I'd only brought him the hangover soup out of kindness, but he suddenly grabbed my wrist. Amelia, wife. Elias looked up at me, and a flash of surprise crossed his eyes. He hadn't called my name in that tender tone in 2 years. Ever since we'd laid our cards on the table, he'd only ever called me Mrs. Hale, a constant reminder to know my place and not overstep. Elias sighed, his voice weary but his face full of nostalgia. You're always so sensible and sweet, Amelia. I've neglected you these past 2 months. To make it up to you, I'm not going anywhere tonight. I'll stay home and spend Chinese Valentine's Day with just you. Okay. You prepared a candlelit dinner. Good girl. That's thoughtful. Elias's thumb brushed lightly against the back of my hand, his gaze lazy and teasing. I was sick to my stomach. I wrenched my hand free and shouted, "Quit daydreaming. You might not have any woman who wants you, but I have a man who does." I made plans to spend the holiday with my boyfriend. Enjoy being alone. Loser. Elias laughed. He brushed ash off his cigarette casually, his eyes contemptuous. Got yourself another new boyfriend, Amelia. You know those fake boyfriends of yours don't bother me. Playing hard to get is such a cheap trick. Listen, baby, you'll always be Mrs. Hale. Don't use these low-class tactics. They're disgusting. I froze. It took me a moment to understand what he was saying. Once, to make Elias jealous and win him back, I'd even hired a lover and dated him publicly. I deliberately let the paparazzi take photos of us and made sure Elias saw them. What had Elias done then? He'd cornered me and that boy in our house, leaning against the wall with that lazy smile on his face. He'd said casually, "Why don't you kiss him, Amelia? I came home to watch you too. Don't be so stingy. I never hide it from you when I'm with my lovers." Ignoring my pale face, Elias turned to the boy and grinned. "Take good care of my wife. She loves it from behind." I couldn't listen anymore. I ran up and slapped Elias across the face. I told them both to get the hell out of my house. I cried alone until my stomach cramped, and I ended up with severe depression. Be a good girl, Amelia. Yeah. Elias tried to grab my hand again. He had the exact same look on his face as he did that day. I frowned. Get lost. People change. When I met Liam, with his bright youth and energy, I finally understood how Elias felt. Turns out even childhood sweethearts can get bored of each other. That's right. Elias and I were childhood sweethearts. He'd loved me passionately and sincerely for many years, but he cheated on me with his secretary in the 2nd year of our marriage. I cried. I screamed. I lost my mind. I even stormed into Elias's office and destroyed it. In the end, Elias fired the secretary. He held me in his arms and comforted me as I broke down. Don't cry, Amelia. I just got bored after being with you for over 20 years. If we can't be lovers, I'll still be your good brother. Our families are bound by this business marriage anyway. Why don't we try an open marriage? You play your way, I'll play mine. We won't interfere with each other. Okay, baby, you're still the one I love most. I couldn't understand how Elias could say something so hurtful in such a gentle tone, but now, I was over it. if Elias hadn't suggested an open marriage. I never would have met my true love in the 3rd year of our marriage. I couldn't be bothered to argue with Elias anymore. I picked up my bag from the table and turned to leave, but Elias wrapped his arms around me from behind. The familiar scent of his cologne made me gag. I was so disgusted. The body behind me suddenly went rigid. Elias's disbelieving voice rang in my ear. "You think I'm disgusting?" I hadn't realized I'd said it out loud. I went on. "I also think you're filthy. I'm afraid you've got something. Stay away from me." Elias froze. After a moment, he laughed lowly in my ear. "You're still so childish, Amelia. Still playing hard to get." Just then, the keypad lock on the villa door beeped. Beep. "Welcome home." Someone was here. Elias and I both looked up toward the door. "Ah, Elias Hale, how dare you? Why are you hugging each other?" It was Chloe. The second she walked in, she pointed at us and screamed, her eyes filling with tears instantly. "Elias, you said you only loved me. Why are you hugging someone else? Were all those sweet lies you told me just lies? How could you do this to me?" Chloe was wearing a white dress, tears streaming down her face like broken pearls. She looked so pitiful, like the whole world had wronged her. It was ridiculous. She was the homewrecker. Elias let go of me immediately, stepping 2 paces away as if to avoid suspicion. "Chloe, you know it's just a business marriage between us. I see Amelia like my own sister. Who would fall in love with their own sister? Chloe, did you come here to spend Valentine's Day with me?" Elias pulled Chloe into his arms and whispered comforting words to her. "Chloe, then you're not allowed to talk to her anymore. No hugging, no holding hands, nothing. You can only take me with you in public." I couldn't help but laugh at her ridiculous demands. "Excuse me, but last time I checked, I'm Elias Hale's legal wife." Elias's taste in lovers had really gone downhill. Chloe froze, biting her lip and looking lost. Elias frowned and snapped. "Amelia Bennett, call her sister-in-law." He wanted me, the legal wife, to call his mistress sister-in-law. That was a whole new level of humiliation. I placed a hand over my heart. It didn't hurt anymore, but I clearly remembered the countless times I'd been in agony over moments just like this. Chloe looked pleased with Elias's reaction. She slipped her hand into his quietly. "Is this the candlelit dinner you prepared for Elias? Can you give it to us? I want to spend Valentine's Day at home with him." Elias didn't even bother asking for my opinion. "Anything you want, Chloe, I'll give it to you. Don't leave me again, okay?" When Elias said sweet nothings, his eyes were so gentle they could drown you. Chloe blushed, lifting her chin defiantly at me. "Amelia Bennett, stop clinging to Elias. The one who's not loved is the real homewrecker." Elias nodded and smiled at me. "She's young and has a temper. Be nice to her. Leave the candlelit dinner for us. How much do you want for it?" I'd been planning to make a scene, but Liam texted to say he was downstairs, thinking about the makeup and hair I'd spent hours on, not to mention my new manicure. I decided to spare these 2 scumbags for now. $20,000. I wasn't asking for an arm and a leg. The dinner had been delivered from a 5-star restaurant, and the wine was the expensive part. Elias transferred the money, and I took it and left, but Chloe wouldn't let it go. She called after me. "Amelia Bennett, Elias said the servants are on leave. Why don't you serve us dinner?" I was at my breaking point, about to lose my temper completely, and Chloe just kept provoking me. "Amelia Bennett, as his sister, you should listen to your sister-in-law, right?" I muttered a curse under my breath and marched over to slap Chloe hard across the face. "Homewreckers should know their place. Get the hell away from me." Chloe covered her face. "You hit me," she cried and hid in Elias's arms, but Elias just raised an eyebrow at me, a smirk playing on his lips. It seemed he hadn't seen me hit anyone in a long time. I sneered. "I hit you, and I'd do it again. You chose to be a homewrecker, no deal with the consequences." I raised my hand to slap her a second time, but Elias grabbed my wrist. He was still smiling, but there was a warning in his voice. "That's enough, Amelia. Chloe's the one I love. Hurting her will make me very unhappy." His gaze turned cold, his tone threatening. Slap. Everyone knows people have 2 hands. I slapped Chloe across the face with my other hand. Elias shoved me hard. I was wearing 5-inch heels for the date, and I stumbled backward. Off balance. Elias stood over me, making no move to catch me. He probably wanted to teach me a lesson. I hadn't expected him to help anyway. I just felt a little sorry. Would I have to go to the hospital before my date? I didn't fall to the ground. Someone caught me firmly by the waist. He pulled me into his arms and said lowly, "Baby, I've been waiting downstairs for 15 minutes. Is this old man bothering you?" My sweet boy had gotten tired of waiting. The second Liam arrived, he clung to me like a koala, his voice angry. "I never even kiss you too hard, and he dares to push you. Baby, can I punch him?" Liam held my hand tightly, glaring at Elias. I steadied myself and patted Liam's hand. "Be good. Don't let irrelevant people ruin our holiday." I could beat him up tomorrow. It could wait until after Valentine's Day. "What's your relationship with this bastard?" "Oh. How could you betray Elias?" Chloe screamed at the top of her lungs, but there was a hint of glee in her eyes. I thought Chloe was mentally unstable, like her left and right brain were fighting each other. But Elias, for some reason, was glaring at me through gritted teeth. "Amelia Bennett. Who is he?" I frowned. "Obviously, he's my boyfriend." Then I turned to Chloe. "You just said the one who's not loved is the real homewrecker. So Elias is the homewrecking bastard here. How dare you call my boyfriend that?" With those two sentences, Liam melted into a puddle. He clung to my hand and grinned stupidly. "You're the best, baby." I smiled too. God, true love was so much better. Just looking at him made my heart feel light. Elias frowned and suddenly laughed softly. "Amelia, I only see you as a sister. I don't care who you hire to pretend to be your lover. Playing hard to get doesn't work on me anymore. Don't force yourself to do this, Amelia." I rolled my eyes. Before I could say anything, Liam stepped in front of me. His smile was gone, his face dark. "What the hell are you talking about? Pretend lover? You're just old and blind. I'm her real, official boyfriend." The smile faded from Elias's face. He'd probably never been called old before. I laughed so hard in Liam's arms I could barely breathe. Elias scoffed, looking disdainful. "Boyfriend? Big talk. Does she even let you kiss her?" It was the same line he'd used 2 years ago. Elias stood there, high and mighty, waiting for me to break down. He wanted to tear off my mask and see me vulnerable, sensitive, and crying. He wanted me to stay chaste for him and do all sorts of ridiculous things for his attention. Liam was furious. He squeezed my hand tightly and snapped, "What the hell is wrong with you? Why would I show you the intimate things between me and my girlfriend?" "Exactly. If you truly love someone, you'd never let strangers gawk at them." Elias's smile was gentle, but his eyes held the certainty of victory. I stood on my tiptoes and pressed a soft kiss to Liam's lips. "There. Now go enjoy your own Valentine's Day." I grabbed Liam's hand and turned to leave, but Elias grabbed my wrist roughly. "Amelia Bennett, are you degrading yourself just to make me jealous? Spending the night with some random guy like this, Amelia?" Liam clenched his fists, but I slapped Elias across the face before he could move. Slap. The sound was crisp and clear. It was the first time I'd hit him in the 22 years we'd known each other. Elias froze, staring at me in disbelief. I held Liam's hand and said every word clearly. "He's my boyfriend. He's the man I love. We're going to get married someday. I won't let you talk about him like that." Without giving Elias a chance to react, I pulled Liam and stormed out. We had movie tickets for tonight, and I didn't want to miss the horror film. Once we were in Liam's car, he buckled my seatbelt for me. I asked him, was I too harsh? Liam held my hand and kissed my palm over and over. "Baby, I wish you had the strength of King Kong so you could have slapped that old man's head off. That bastard ruined our candlelit dinner. But it's okay, baby. I already made a reservation at your favorite restaurant." He looked up at me and grinned, showing 2 sharp canine teeth. I grabbed his collar and kissed him. Bang, bang, bang. Someone was pounding on the car window so hard it shook. Elias's face appeared right outside. His eyes were bloodshot, veins bulging on his forehead. "Amelia, get out of the car." This was such a buzzkill. "Drive. Just go." I leaned back in the seat and closed my eyes, not wanting to look at Elias anymore. Liam drove smoothly. I closed my eyes and, for the first time in a long time, had a dream. I dreamed of when we were kids. And Elias would always give me endless candies and pretty stones. I dreamed of my first period, when he'd blushed bright red and gone to buy me sanitary pads. I dreamed of the summer when I was 17, on my way home from school. I'd been cornered by thugs in an alley. Elias had arrived before the police. I'd never seen him like that, his eyes red with rage. He beat those thugs to the ground. He held me so tightly, his voice full of terror at the thought of losing me. Amelia, I'll always protect you. I'll never leave your side. I'll never let anything hurt you. But after we got married, I had a severe case of acute appendicitis on a stormy night. Elias was driving me to the hospital when he got a call from his lover. He dumped me on a strange street corner, looking rushed. Amelia, call a cab yourself. Lily saw a cockroach in her apartment. She's too scared to sleep. I have to go save her. Elias was still smiling, relaxed and carefree, his eyes soft, through the rain, his features twisted in my eyes. And I finally saw how cold he really was. The rain was pouring that night. Someone held an umbrella over me. I looked up and saw a boy's young, handsome face. Miss, baby, we're here. Time to get out and eat. Liam shook my shoulder gently, leaning closer and closer. When I opened my eyes, he was already stealing a kiss from my lips. He didn't even try to hide it when he got caught. Like a cat that had just stolen cream, I couldn't help but ruffle his hair. Let's go. Lee, going on a date with the person you love should be a wonderful thing. It would have been, if someone hadn't kept spamming my phone with messages. My phone kept vibrating on the table. I picked it up. They were all from Elias. Amelia Bennett. Get back here and explain yourself. Who the hell is that kid? Amelia, I'm not saying you can't have a boyfriend, but you're too naive. What if he's just using you? Bring him home. I'll vet him for you. Don't degrade yourself just to make me jealous. If you want a boyfriend, I can find you someone who matches your looks and status. Amelia, where are you? Come home first. I frowned and blocked Elias's number as more messages kept coming. I looked up to see Liam pouting. Your ex-husband is so petty. He gets his heart broken and takes it out on us. I laughed and comforted him. The date went perfectly. That night at the hotel, Liam pulled out a cat ear headband and put it on. He knelt in front of me and kissed my calf. Baby, Elias called in the middle of the night. I was so tired I didn't even bother checking who it was. What? I asked, my voice hoarse. No one answered on the other end. All I could hear was a man's heavy breathing. Who is it? Baby, who are you talking to this late at night? Liam snuggled up to me and pulled me into his arms. I don't know. Doesn't matter. I was so sleepy I hung up the phone and buried my face in Liam's chest. When I woke up the next morning, Liam wasn't in bed. There was a sticky note on the pillow. Went to buy you breakfast from the bun shop on the east side. That had been my favorite place for buns when I was in college. I'd only mentioned it once, but Liam had remembered. I picked up my phone and saw 20 missed calls, all from Elias. Just seeing his name made me frown. I had no idea what he wanted. He'd never bothered me when he was out on dates. I'd just finished washing up when the front desk called. Ms. Bennett. Mr. Hale is waiting for you in the lobby. This hotel was part of the Hale Group's properties, so I wasn't surprised Elias had found me here. I pushed open the door to the lobby. The man was wearing a dark suit, gold-rimmed glasses perched on his nose. He looked lazy and arrogant. That familiar look of someone who always got what he wanted. Amelia, you stayed out all night just to get back at Chloe. She's young and spoiled. You don't have to stoop to her level. We agreed on an open marriage, didn't we? I don't care who you sleep with. Elias's voice suddenly trailed off. He stared at my neck, his face turning pale. What happened to your neck? He frowned, his voice cold. I blinked and touched it. It was still a little itchy and sore. That bad dog Liam had bitten me too hard. I shrugged off Elias's question. My puppy bit me. Elias's hand on the table clenched into a fist. He said through gritted teeth, dogs that bite should be put down. I shook my head. No way. I love him. Then I answered his original question. Take your Chloe and stay the hell away from my house. You make me sick. And for the record, I stayed out all night because I was with my boyfriend. It has nothing to do with either of you. I'm not part of your little game. Elias was silent for once. As I turned to leave, he grabbed my hand roughly. Amelia, We've known each other since we were kids. Do we really have to talk like this? I sighed. Like what? I'm just telling the truth. Elias. Don't be with random guys. If you really want someone, I'll find someone suitable for you. Elias was insane. I didn't want to argue with him. Just then, Liam pushed open the door, holding a bag of buns and red bean porridge. Baby. He blinked at me, looking all sad and wronged. I pulled my hand free from Elias immediately. You're back. I'm starving. Let me try one of those buns. Liam put his arm around my shoulders and glared at Elias. A good ex-husband should be dead to you. Elias snapped. We're not divorced. I pushed Liam behind me. Oh, come on. He's young. Don't be so harsh on him. He just wants a title. He doesn't have any bad intentions. Liam grinned and rested his chin on my shoulder. Yeah, baby's right. I just love my baby. What's wrong with that? Elias pointed at Liam, shaking with rage. I frowned. Enough. Go back to your little girlfriend. We agreed not to interfere with each other. Elias, you crossed the line. With that, I ignored Elias's furious expression and pulled Liam away quickly. I'd known Elias for over 20 years. Did I not know how selfish he was? He could have as many lovers as he wanted. But he couldn't stand the thought of me betraying our childhood bond. Elias had only suggested an open marriage because he was sure I loved him too much and was too moral to ever cheat. Once, I wouldn't have. But people change, especially when true love comes along. I just hadn't expected Elias's reaction to be this extreme. I was at the company opening an account when the front desk called me. Ms. Bennett, your boyfriend is fighting with someone in the lobby. I rushed downstairs to find Liam sitting on top of Elias. They were rolling around on the floor, throwing punches at each other. It took all my strength to pull them apart. Does it hurt? Oh no. Your hand's all scraped up. I pulled Liam over to the couch and gently touched his split lip. Baby, it hurts so bad. Liam immediately dropped the tough act he'd had while fighting Elias. He pouted and leaned against me. Kiss it better. Baby. I covered his mouth with my hand. This boy had no filter in public. Amelia Bennett. Can't you see I'm hurt too? Elias's voice was sharp. When I looked up at him, he laughed bitterly. I took a good look at Elias. He was actually hurt worse. I gave him a half-hearted apology. I'm sorry on Liam's behalf. He's still young. You're not going to hold it against a kid, are you? Elias froze. He clearly hadn't expected that reaction from me. Liam whispered. Baby. He started it. He hit me first for no reason. I was being respectful to my elders. I didn't start anything. It's all his fault. We don't have to apologize. After hearing what Liam said, I straightened up immediately. Elias Hale, what the hell is wrong with you? You came here this morning and hit my boyfriend. Are you insane? Elias laughed bitterly. His hands clenched so tight the veins on his arms bulged. Amelia Bennett. He's a homewrecker. He deserved to be hit. I shook my head. Your little girlfriend said the one who's not loved is the real homewrecker. Liam isn't the homewrecker. Elias. Amelia Bennett. He stood up abruptly, his face turning every shade of pale and green. In the end, he even looked a little hurt. Elias slumped back on the couch, his voice low. Amelia. He hasn't even graduated yet. How can he possibly give you a good future? If you really want someone, it should be someone who matches your family background and education. Liam cut in eagerly. I can. I squeezed his hand to stop him and turned to Elias. Who were you planning to introduce me to? Elias opened his mouth, but no names came out. I went on. I can give us both a good future. I'm the Bennett family's eldest daughter. I run the Bennett company. I'm more than capable of supporting my boyfriend. Besides, Liam was a fairly well-known painter. He didn't need me to support him. Finally, I decided to say what I'd been meaning to. Elias, let's get a divorce. This was getting pointless. No. Elias looked shocked. He said disbelievingly, why do you want a divorce? We agreed we'd each do our own thing, but the marriage stays intact, didn't we? I leaned against Liam and frowned. I never agreed to that. Elias, then what about Liam? If you didn't agree to an open marriage, how can you be with him? I opened my mouth to speak, but Elias cut me off urgently. Amelia. We've been together for over 20 years. No one will ever take your place in my heart. I'll break things off with Chloe. We can start over, okay? Just us. I shook my head. No, I'm with Liam because I love him. So let's get divorced. I don't want the man I love to be kept in the dark. I was still young. I didn't want to spend the rest of my life tied to a piece of shit like Elias. This was probably the first time Liam had heard me say I wanted to divorce Elias. His eyes widened, bright and shiny like a puppy's. Baby, you're the best. I love you so much. I'll love you forever. Liam buried his face in my chest. Elias could no longer keep up his composure. His voice was stiff. Amelia. Divorce isn't just between you and me. Our families are bound by business. We can't just get divorced like that. I didn't understand why Elias was refusing to sign. But I'd been preparing for this divorce for a long time. I told my parents I wanted a divorce last year. Elias froze. I added helpfully. Both your parents and mine already know. Elias shook his head. That's impossible. Why didn't anyone tell me? Me. You were too busy obsessing over Chloe back then. Don't you remember telling me to stop making a scene? It had been my birthday party, in front of hundreds of guests. Elias had left early. I didn't even remember what excuses I'd made for him to calm the guests down. I just remembered how tired I was. When Elias couldn't even be bothered to show up to business events and left me to clean up his messes. Our marriage was already over. Elias's face turned pale. He must have remembered how badly things had ended that night. Amelia. Elias's lips trembled. His voice shaking. But I felt nothing. The divorce agreement has already been reviewed by both sets of parents. Find a time and we'll go sign the papers. With that, I stood up to leave. Elias tried to grab my wrist again, but this time Liam stopped him. Stay away from my wife. Even if you are older than me, you can't hit on my wife. Liam held his head higher than ever, full of confidence. He already had the attitude of the rightful husband. Amelia Bennett. I heard Elias calling my name behind me, but I didn't look back. Like he'd said, we'd been childhood sweethearts for over 20 years. Why did we have to end things so badly? Maybe I never should have said yes to his proposal in the first place. Baby, happy divorce day. Liam sang happily beside me. What I didn't expect was that Elias refused to get divorced. He claimed he was going on a business trip and refused to talk about it. Fine by me. I packed up a room and moved Liam into the villa. I was used to living here. I spent more time here in a year than Elias did. I wasn't going to give it up to him. Liam and I had our own candlelit dinner at the villa to make up for Chinese Valentine's Day. The place was familiar. Our wedding photo still hung on the wall. Talk about thrilling. Before Elias came back from his trip, Chloe came to see me. She asked to meet at a coffee shop. I still didn't understand why every single one of Elias's lovers chose to meet me at a coffee shop. Amelia Bennett. Elias doesn't love you anymore. Can you stop clinging to him? He said he only sees you as a sister. He said you're like his left hand or right hand, so familiar you make him sick. You lost this game of love. I took a sip of my coffee. The familiar taste made me zone out for a second. Ms. Reed. You're not the first person to say these things to me. Many of Elias's lovers had said the exact same thing. Chloe sniffed. I'm different. Elias said I'm not like the others. I laughed coldly. We're getting divorced. If you want to marry Elias, you shouldn't be talking to me. As soon as he signs the papers, our marriage is over. Chloe. About time you saw sense. She couldn't hide the joy on her face. I sighed in relief too. I hoped Elias actually cared about Chloe enough to sign the divorce papers quickly. Liam was already impatiently picking out wedding dresses and venues. Chloe left. Not long after, Elias called. Amelia. You told Chloe we're getting divorced. His voice was shaking, like he was hurt. I had no reason to deny it. Yeah, isn't it good that I'm stepping aside so you can make her Mrs. Hale? Elias. Amelia. I never wanted to marry her. You know that. You're the only one I've ever wanted to marry. I sounded impatient. Why are we talking about ancient history? You also said you'd only love me forever. But you broke that promise too. When are you coming back? Let's get this divorce over with. Elias was silent for a long time before he spoke. Next Wednesday is my birthday. Let's talk about the divorce after my birthday. I nodded. A few more days wouldn't kill me. Before he hung up, Elias added, Amelia. You said you'd always make every one of my birthdays special. You will this time too. Right. I agreed. Was he threatening me? The Hale mansion was decorated with lights and lanterns. Countless business celebrities were in attendance. Elias was, of course, the center of attention. The second I walked in, he came straight over to me. Amelia, you're here. His eyes were bright, just like they'd been when he'd waited for me with flowers on the college campus. Elias tried to grab my hand, but I pulled away. Here's your present. I snapped out of my daze and handed him the gift. A watch. Elias's face lit up. I love it. Amelia, it's perfect. I smiled, glad he liked it. Liam picked it out actually, as soon as the words left my mouth. I realized how awkward that was. Elias and I stared at each other. His smile faded. I thought about the year before, when I'd been so excited to give Elias his birthday present, only to be told it had actually been a gift from his lover. I didn't want to relive that feeling, clearly. Elias remembered too. He looked guilty. Amelia, are you still mad at me? I shook my head quickly. No, not at all. What was the point of being mad when we were getting divorced? Just then, Liam called. He sounded sad. Baby, it's thundering outside. I'm scared. Can you come home and stay with me? I laughed. You're a grown man. Are you really scared of thunder? I'll be right there. Puppies get so clingy when they're scared. I turned to Elias. I gave you your present. I'm leaving now. Elias grabbed my wrist tightly. Amelia Bennett. It's my birthday party. You can't just leave like this. I sighed. Liam's waiting for me. Elias was silent, his face broken. He licked his lips and asked shakily, "Can't you wait until the party's over?" I shook my head. But I called Chloe for you. You won't be lonely. Elias wouldn't let go. He said urgently, I don't love Chloe. No one is more important to me than you. Amelia. I was silent for a moment before I laughed coldly. But you left my birthday party pretty quickly. Didn't you? I didn't stop you then. Why are you stopping me now? Elias looked like he'd been stabbed. He let go of my hand suddenly, his lips moving. I'm sorry, Amelia. I turned and left. What was the point of staying here listening to Elias apologize? I'd much rather go home and listen to my puppy tell me how much he loves me. I didn't hear about it until the next day. The birthday party had ended in disaster. Chloe had dressed up beautifully and, in front of all the guests, offered herself to Elias as a birthday present. Elias had rejected her publicly, and things had gotten ugly. In the end, Mr. Hale had had to step in to calm everyone down. I got a call from Mr. Hale. Amelia, come over to the house. That ungrateful son of mine is here. Let's settle this divorce once and for all. I brought Liam with me to the Hale house. It wasn't like it was the first time. When I pushed open the door, Elias was kneeling in the middle of the living room. His face lit up when he saw me, then fell when he saw Liam beside me. Amelia, how dare you bring this homewrecker into my house? Elias shouted, his eyes red. I couldn't be bothered to argue with him. I couldn't be bothered to count how many women he'd brought home over the years. Mrs. Hale came downstairs and greeted us. Amelia, make yourself at home. Nice to see you again. Liam nodded shyly. Elias froze. He stared at his mother in disbelief. Mom, you knew about him. Mrs. Hale looked cold. Yes. Amelia brought him to meet us a while ago. Elias couldn't believe it. Mom, I'm your son. Mr. Hale slapped Elias across the face. We know all the terrible things you've done to Amelia. You've disgraced the Hale family name. You hurt Amelia. And Amelia deserves someone who will love her and take care of her. Elias, no, I won't agree to the divorce. Amelia, I love you. I've only ever loved you. I broke things off with Chloe. I'll never have another lover again. We can start over. If you can't give up Liam, I'll even look the other way. He can be the other one. I don't care. Elias tried to stand up, but the bodyguards held him down firmly. I shook my head at him. No, we have to get divorced. If you truly love someone, you give them a title. I can't bear to have Liam kept in the dark forever. Elias, we're getting married, with the help of Mr. and Mrs. Hale. I got my divorce certificate quickly. Liam dragged me to the courthouse the same day to get our marriage license. Mrs. Carter, I'm officially licensed now. Liam picked me up and spun me around. Elias was standing on the sidewalk, looking bitter and resentful, like a rat peeking in on someone else's happiness. Our wedding was grand and romantic. Being an artist, Liam had impeccable taste. After the wedding, Elias was standing in the hallway, wearing the same suit he'd worn to our wedding. His voice was choked with tears. "I'm sorry, Amelia. It feels like my heart is breaking when I see you with Liam. Is this how you felt all those times? I'm so sorry." My expression was neutral. It's all in the past. Our 20 years of friendship had been real, but the 5 years of hurt from our marriage had been real too. Elias looked desolate. Amelia, can I be your lover? We can still be together. I don't need a title." Before I could say anything, Liam pulled me into his arms and shouted, "No, you're old, ugly, filthy, and a cheater. You're like a piece of dog shit, and you dare ask for that. My wife is mine and mine alone." I laughed and shrugged helplessly at Elias. What can I say? Younger guys are just clingy. Hey there, could you rate this story in the comments? Use a scale of 1 to 10, please. I am begging you. It really means a lot to me. And if you like this kind of content, don't forget to hit follow.